So I don't know if you've been paying attention to this one. I can hardly blame you if you haven't. But I've been watching with some amusement as this recent conservative star is now falling from the sky and burning out. And I'm not so interested in the online drama here between the quartering and this guy, Jack Murphy, and all of that, but rather what we can learn from it. But real briefly, so this Jack Murphy, whose real name, I guess, is John Goldman. 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 Every time. So, anyway, we'll go with Murphy. Jack Murphy is what he goes by, his screen name here. He started showing up on the Tim Pool podcast regularly, and I basically consider Tim Pool to be today's version of CNN. Really what CNN should have been in the 2020s, 20-teens era. And I thought, okay, this another guy that's kind of made it, building up his street cred as a kind of a pro-Trump conservative guy, and I don't have time to sit there and watch people that make 3-hour videos and all of that. So I just recognize him. The beard is the very recognizable feature. The beard is very, very epic, but that's kind of where his epicness ends. It seems today he runs a website called The Liminal Order, where he's the super alpha giga Chad, where you can pay $100 a month to be part of some community that will teach you how to be a real man, get girls and all this great stuff. Sure, okay, I don't advise ever buying into any of this stuff online, because there is so much good stuff that's free for whatever you're interested in. Particularly like long-term subscription services, unless you're supporting someone that you really like what they're doing, go ahead and support it. But just simply giving people money in exchange for the secret information that's going to fix your problems, The controversy seems to have begun here when Sydney Watson of The Blaze asked him about a previous article he'd written about, well, engaging in cuckoldry. Not exactly alpha male stuff. And it led to this whole cascading of revelations that were kind of, this guy had, well, been more a big lefty and had done adult cam work on a website called Chatterbait, which is pretty much where you exchange a lifetime's worth of your dignity and your family's dignity for money up front. As an aside, I've read about women that go down this path. They are then later shocked that the men who have options, i.e. the men they find attractive, don't have any interest in dating a woman who's sold her body, whether virtually or not. This stuff lasts forever, and now with the nature of the internet, it's not just going to be your lifetime. It's going to be your children's lifetime and your children's children's lifetime. What we are documenting here is truly up forever. Consider that very closely. Anyway, he claims he was in a desperate place. Him and his wife or girlfriend made some of this, and he also seems to be quite adept at plugging up the dumpster. And okay, good old sodomy. I don't want to get too graphic. It's gross. You can read the article in the National File. Some of the pictures are just, you'll never be able to look at the guy the same again. Now there's been back and forth, and there's lawsuits threatened, and all sorts of that usual stuff. But here's why I want to talk about this. Here's why I bring it up, actual matter of strategy and cleaning house and whatnot. I've done a video where a GOP mayor wins in a 40-point swing as Democrats have started voting red as they awaken to self-preservation. 40-point swing in less than a year away from the Biden Democrat Party. This is a big deal. We have left UGs. We have people fleeing left states to the point where California is actually going to be losing seats in the House. Their population is shrinking so fast. Just in 2021, we saw a flood of red sweeping across the nation. We saw the truck driver run and win on only $59 or something of his own money, something like that, upsetting a 20-year veteran of Democrat politics in New Jersey. My point is, we're seeing the pendulum shift. Back in the Jon Stewart days, or John Leibowitz, I guess. Anyway, Jon Stewart days, the left Democrat wing of politics did have some reasonable points, reasonable arguments, and it was the Bush-Cheney guys that were out of control. And so a bunch of these shills, a bunch of these Johnny-come-latelys all jumped on the left-wing pendulum, and they rode it for not principle, but for cash. Just look at that woman that was one of the heads of Black Lives Matter that once she got her millions of dollars, moved into an all-white neighborhood. Yes, Black Lives Matter indeed. I think a lot of the Twitter outrage mob stuff, everything's racist, bring her home, that's just people looking to cash in on a big cultural trend. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care about the principle. They're in it for the money. And the left, the win by any means necessary, the ends justify the means mentality, never gatekept. They never kicked people out. They were just all we got to do is win, and then we'll fix society. And so we get here, yes, they do control the House, Senate, and presidency, but they have the weakest president of all time. They're losing the House on redistricting alone. That's not even taking into effect these gargantuan 40-point swings, 30, 40-point swings in some point. And you have Democrats switching to Republicans, trying to get out of the blast zone. You have Democrats in the Senate siding with Republicans. So what's going on? That pendulum is now swinging back to the right. Now, whether you like it, don't like it, this is just an analysis. This is what is happening. And I did a video previously, where do these hot GOP influencers come from? And you look at the Lauren Boeberts and the Candace Owens and the Tommy Lahrens, and it appears, anyway, from what I've been able to tell, a lot of them got their start on a website called Explore Talent. Models, actors, God only knows if they pulled a Jack Murphy here and there. Maybe. I have no idea. But the point is, as this pendulum swings back to the right, don't just accept these new personalities without doing some digging. This Jack Murphy stuff was like 2019. That wasn't very long ago that he was doing, in the dumpster stuff. When a new face pops up before you, like, subscribe, and want to give them $100 a month for a subscription, take the time and see what they've done. Dig a little bit. It's real easy to research people on the internet. Look at what else they've done, what other positions they've held, because the grifters are going to be coming out in force. Take, for example, this channel. I am on BitChute, YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey now. But if you want, you can go back to 2018, on YouTube anyway, and you can see what I was doing then. I was narrating Aesop's Fables. I narrated some books on philosophy and the history of Christianity. Pretty consistent and not exactly going for the most clickbaity hot topics of the day, although admittedly this is one of those videos. But you gotta admit it's pretty funny, and you gotta admit it's pretty important, because there's gonna be a lot of people coming out of the woodworks as this pendulum shifts that are suddenly gonna get real smart real fast, and the right-wing stuff, it's like, oh, it's the left that's the bad guys, right? Like, they're crazy, and once you get a mainstream push behind a movement, it gets watered down, but it also becomes very tempting for a bunch of shills to sweep in and try to make the easy buck. And so I think to avoid the mistakes that we've seen the left make over the past 20 years, be sure to gatekeep hard, always hold people accountable. Trump keeps talking about these damn injections. Hold him accountable for that. And remember, the ends don't justify the means. If you're an idealist, every step towards the imagined ideal, every step towards that needs to be worthy of that end goal. Don't take the shortcuts. Don't take the easy ways, because otherwise you end up with a completely corrupted movement. The former free speech left is now the most censorious institutions we have. So I would say stay involved, stay active, stay hopeful, but also stay vigilant and stay skeptical. Don't be afraid to gatekeep, and when someone steps out of line, you either get an immediate and complete clarifying statement out of them, or don't hesitate to give them the boot.